What should you know about home inspections? Whether you're thinking about buying a property or you're about to buy a property and you're wondering what the process is like, how do I know this house is good? How do I know there's no issues? Everybody's going to go through a home inspection. Now, these aren't required, you don't have to, but highly recommend anybody going to buy a house to do a basic home inspection. Now, one thing a lot of people don't know is there are other more specific inspections on top of that. There's a home inspection, general home inspection, which everybody should do absolutely whenever you're buying a house. Then there's a radon inspection that you can possibly do as well. There's a sewer inspection, a termite inspection, and a mold inspection. And there's also some other ones, but those are the main ones that you would want to pay attention to. So if you're thinking about buying a house, absolutely do the general inspection, take a look at the house. The other more specific inspections, you don't have to do, but sometimes if there's some signs that things are going on in the house and you want to be sure, it's always a smart idea to go ahead and do it. Now, what do you expect when you're going through a home inspection? What should you inspect? What is it like if you've never done one before? Or maybe you have done one before, but it didn't go as well as you wanted it to go. I wanted it to go. Here's the thing with home inspections. Inspectors, it's a third party, completely unbiased person who's going to come out and take a look at the house, and they're going to basically run through the entire house based off how big it is, the size. Usually it's about a couple hours depending on the size. Now, here's the thing. They're going to go and walk through the house. They're going to take a look at any visible marks. They're going to take a look at everything's functioning properly, making sure the plumbing works, the faucets work, the electrical panel works, there's outlets that are working fine. They're going to take a look at the house and making sure everything is visible and that everything is working as it should be. Here's something that people forget though. Home inspectors can only do what they can see. They're not going to go behind the walls. If the wiring was done incorrectly, they're not going to be able to tell that. What they can tell is the outlet working and is it grounded or not? That's what they can tell. They can tell, hey, is the sink draining properly or is it backing up? They can't tell you if if the plumbing was done properly or not. They can just tell you, is it draining as it should or not? So that's something to keep in mind with home inspectors when you're going to do a home inspection. I wish they had like a Tony Stark suit where they can, see through the entire house, do a 3D hologram of what's going on, what's made in the house, if everything was done. I wish we had that type of technology. We just don't. So they're going to take a look, they're going to walk through the house, and they're going to see exactly what's going on, what problems are there, but they can't look behind the walls. They can't see what's going on that's visible to you. So sometimes people have bad experiences because they'll buy a house and they say, hey, why wasn't this caught? Why didn't we see this? What happened here? They can't go behind the walls. They can't see what's going on other than what's visible. So keep that in mind when you're going to do a home inspection. Now, if you want more certainty and you're kind of worried, you want to make sure the house is in better condition, there are more different inspections you can do, right? You can do the radon inspection. This is pretty common. A lot of people like to do this because with radon, it can be a deadly gas for you. So you want to make sure you do a home inspection. If depending on what area you are, you could just make sure the levels in the house are safe. You're not going to have any issues down the line. This is a pretty easy inspection to do. It does take about a day or two to get the results, so keep that in mind. There's also a sewer inspection. Let's say you want to make sure the sewer line is working properly, there's no issues, so that whenever you're draining, whenever you're using the shower, toilet, whatever, that it drains properly. The typical home inspector, they're just going to be able to see if the toilet's going down. They're not going to be able to see if there's something wrong with the sewer line. So you can do a specific sewer line inspection where they're going to put a camera down and they're going to take a look at the sewer line and see if there's any cracks, any issues, anything that's going to come up later down the line. Maybe they're going to see some roots, whatever. You can do a separate inspection for that to making sure that your sewer line is connected properly, there's no issues, and you're good to go. The other inspection that you can do is a termite inspection. This is I don't see this happening often, a termite inspection. I would say you're probably going to see this if you're doing a rundown house, or maybe you see some signs of wooden issues in the house. And you just want to make sure. So you do a termite inspection to make sure there's no issues in the house, there's no damage. Because termite damage is something that you do not want to mess around with. It is very, very costly if you find you have termite damage in the house. Again, this isn't something that happens often, But if you're kind of worried, you're seeing some signs there might be some damage, it's a good idea to do a termite inspection. The last most popular inspection that we see also are mold inspections. Look, if there's some water damage going on during the regular home inspection process, the inspector can say, hey, is this surface wet or is this dry? They can tell you if it's wet or dry. That's pretty much it. They can't tell you the extent to how old the mold is, if there is mold, the level of how safe it is. They can't tell you that. That's why you would need to get a different mold inspection to tell you, hey, this is the type of mold that's going on. Here's how dangerous it is. Here's the steps that you can do to to fix the mold. So that can happen a lot if you decided you wanted to go down that route and fix the mold or find out what's going on there. Because during the regular home inspection, they're just going to tell you if it's dry or if it's not. That's about the extent. So those are the types of home inspections that we see, the most popular types of home inspections, and what you can do and what to expect out of the general home inspection that you do anytime you buy a house. Again, recommend this for anybody. If you're going to buy a house, absolutely do a home inspection, and keep in mind they can only see what's in front of them. They can't see what's behind the walls. They can't see what's going on other than what's visible to the eye. So keep that in mind. So that's kind of what you should know going into it if you're going to buy a house and you go through inspections, the different type of inspections. So if you have any questions on that, have any questions on any other types of inspections, or you're kind of curious on the other types and you want more information, feel free to shoot me a message and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, hope you have an amazing Monday. Luckily, the sun came out for the first time in probably 6 months finally. But enjoy your Monday, enjoy the week. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.